All right, so here we are with another Curtis Cut. Welcome back to my channel. All 5 of you, however many are watching. Want to start out the video, as I often do, with shout outs to people who made the effort to make comments. I do appreciate comments. They add to the value of what we're doing. I wanted to make a shout out to Matt Cheatwood. I love that line. All right. He shared the comment that, quote, people do unimaginable harm to themselves and others by attempting to maintain the illusion of control. I do believe that that's the theme of the chapter of detachment on the book that I am still reviewing. Codependent no more. Yeah, I will eventually get through it. It seems like I'm averaging about a chapter a video. I'm going to try to maybe get through 2 or 3 chapters on the next one. I'll bet that will be the thumbnail. Who wants to bet? That last look is going to be the thumbnail. I need to do like some of the old rhetoricians and just practice my face in front of a mirror. Or maybe that will be the thumbnail. Anyway, I want to say to Matt Cheatwood on his comment, by the way, amen to that, brother. I remember learning from the book 1984, which is on my list of books to review, in case nobody brings up anything in the comments that they want reviewed. I have a list that my friends that came up with the idea for this channel, they had a list of books they wanted me to review. 1984 is one of those books that I do plan on reviewing in the future. But the evils of power for power's sake. Now, I realize some things are intrinsically good. And possibly I'm wrong about this, but I've felt since reading that book that power isn't one of these things that's intrinsically good. Possibly I'm wrong. It may be something I need to revisit or rethink. But it seems like so much evil is done in the world just for the sake of gaining power, just for its own sake. Also, I want to make a shout out to Brooke for his comment saying that he liked the musical commentary, despite the technical difficulties of them. I'll see if I can be smoother. I really don't think I'm planning on having much musical commentary in here. This chapter is actually a lot less difficult, so hopefully this will be a quicker video. And honestly, like I say, it would be nice if I can start making 2 or 3 of the chapters and get through the book. But the next chapter is entitled Don't Be Blown Away by Every Wind. Now, stability is a wonderful thing, especially when you don't have much of it in your life. This is the only musical commentary I can really think of for this particular concept.
But the passengers, they knew right from wrong. And the people all said, sit down, you rock and roll.
One of my favorite singers there, Don Henley. I'm actually surprised I haven't used more of his stuff for musical commentary, but that's it for this video. Stability is so good. It's something that we all need, and when you don't have it, when your life is dominated by an alcoholic or by someone with something like borderline personality disorder or someone with a drug addiction or a gambling addiction, you really want it and you really need it. But sometimes, ironically, you get to being unstable yourself because you're yoked to this unstable person. You learn things from them. You know, they succeed in manipulating you. Sometimes you feel like you should be using the same strategies yourself. Sometimes you feel like if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. And when it comes to stability, really, no, you want in most cases to be the stable person. I'm sure there are exceptions, but I don't want to go into too much depth in that right now. The key point to this chapter is that codependents are reactionary. They're not the proactive element in whatever the relationship is. They maybe should be. Often they're the grown-up in the relationship, but they're not the proactive power that's propelling things along. One of the things I learned in all my old psychology courses, the person that cares the least often has the most power in a relationship. And I always felt that was a tragic and horrible thing, but it seems to be the truth. The person that cares the least tends to be the one that's the alcoholic, that's the drug addict, that's the one with the strange psychological affliction. They probably do care about you, but they care far less about you than they do about that other issue. And so you end up being the one that cares the most, and therefore you're the one with the least power. It's that simple. To quote the book, we don't have to be afraid of people. They put their pants on the same way you do. You don't have to be afraid of them. You know, maybe they can beat the crud out of you, but you know what? Fearing them only feeds that demon. That's all it does. And that's easier said than done, I know. I know, especially if it really is a truly physically abusive relationship. But I found that a lot of codependents, rarely are they in physically. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that, but in my experience, it seems like the majority of them are not in physically abusive relationships. There's a pretty good percentage of them. I want to back off a little bit. But in essence, it's usually an abuse that is more verbal or emotional. Because you have to remember, a lot of the people that codependents are dealing with are cowards. It's why they're hiding behind a bottle or a drug, or whatever their other issue may be. Another quote from the book: we don't have to take things so seriously. I really wanted to, and I may play with it for a little bit, but I really wanted to edit in a scene of the Joker saying, "Why so serious?" Because I think that's just a beautiful way to put it. You know, I mean, of course the Joker takes it to a horrible extreme, but he has a point in this context. You know, taking things too seriously, I mean, sure, you have to take them a little bit seriously, but when you take them too seriously, you give them a power over you that sometimes these things don't need to have. These people don't always need to have this power over you. Another quote: we don't have to take other people's behavior as reflections of our self-worth. You know, if that other person thinks you're worthless, I'll keep it PG, but screw them. Screw them. They didn't make you. They aren't the arbiter of what you're worth. You don't have to take their judgments at face value for the facts of the case. Nor is rejection a reflection of our self-worth. If somebody rejects you, I should have made a thing with CeeLo Green. You know, his "forget you." You know, that may be the. I keep trying to guess what the thumbnail is going to be. It's going to be one of my worst expressions. I already know. whatever the worst expression is. So what it's going to be. We don't have to take things, especially little things, so personally. I'm going to try to make this quick because, after all, I want to keep these videos under 15 minutes. Frankly, really, I should keep them under 5, but okay, I'm not perfect either. There was a time when a friend of mine, in fact, the very person who suggested this channel, who I think has not watched a single episode. But anyway, I digress. He was my dungeon master in a D&D thing, and I'd rolled up some characters, and he really wanted to play more with the old characters. You know, he loved those characters, and he'd let me roll them up because I was new and this and that. But in his heart of hearts, he really wanted to play with the old characters. I got just really upset. And he didn't understand, and there's, we were both stupid and petty, basically, and we both got over it. The only reason I'm bringing up this story is I got all upset, and he said, "Why are you taking it so personally?" Now, maybe he was right, maybe he was wrong, but the point of the story is that even if he was wrong, I really didn't need to take it as personally as I did. It was a game. I mean, yeah, most of the people that watch this are people that that used to play D&D, so it's a big deal to that crowd. But really, in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that important. It's not. It definitely wasn't worth risking our relationship, and we are still great friends, and he is a fantastic person. I'm joshing about him not watching this. That's the codependent part of me. I got to have that passive aggressive jab at him. But whether he watches this or not, he is one of my best friends. He's a great person. And there's no point in jeopardizing the relationship for something petty. Almost done here. She says she has 4 things that she recommends to help with stability. 1 is to learn to recognize when you are reacting, and I would interject when you are overreacting. 2, make yourself comfortable. I mean, it's hard to overreact when you're kind of psychedelic, well, maybe not psychedelic, but when you're in your pajamas instead of in your tie-dye shirt. It's hard to take it too seriously. 3 is examine what happened. I mean, did this person hold a gun to your head? Okay, then maybe you should take it seriously. Did they tell you that they wanted you to play a different kind of character? Maybe not such a big deal. 4, figure out what you need to do to take care of yourself. In that silly example, we both worked it out, but essentially, in my case, I just needed to figure out, well, do I want this friendship? Do I want to play his D&D game, whatever character or do I want to play my character? We were mature adults. We could work it out. We did work it out. I apologize, I have not brought up yet why this is important to you, but I don't want to end the video without letting you know this is important because honestly, whether you're codependent or not, stability is a big deal. The practice of Aikido talks about, you're always stable. Karate, your stance, you're like a rock. The hurricane can't blow you away. It's important that you stay stable. You anchor yourself in things that really are serious and really are important. Don't let petty things destroy what is valuable in your life. That's it. That's Curtis Cutt. I've gone through another chapter of the book. Hopefully I'll get through soon. Thank you very much. Please comment and like. Have a great day.